The HPE6-A84 exam is designed to test your knowledge of network security concepts and your ability to implement and configure Aruba security solutions. It's a vendor-specific certification offered by Aruba, a Hewlett-Packard Enterprise company. The online HPE6-A84 exam dumps are the best material for you to take and pass the test. Share some HPE6-A84 exam dumps questions here. 1. You are configuring gateway IDs/IPS settings in Aruba Central. For which reason would you set the fail strategy to bypass? A. To permit traffic if the IPS engine falls to inspect it. B. To enable the gateway to honor the allowed settings configured in IDs/IPS policies. C. To tell gateways to stop enforcing IDs/IPS policies if they lose connectivity to the Internet. D. To avoid wasting IPS engine resources on filtering traffic for unauthenticated clients. 2. How does Aruba Central handle security for site-to-site connections between AOS 10 gateways? A. It uses an Aruba proprietary integrity and encryption technologies to secure site-to-site connections, making them resistant to zero-day attacks. B. It automatically establishes IPsec tunnels for all site-to-site, all hubs and branches, connections using keys securely distributed by Central. C. It automatically steers traffic away from Internet-based connections to more secure MPLS connections to reduce encryption overhead. D. It automatically establishes simple-to-manage and highly secure TLS v1.3 tunnels between gateways. 3. A customer has an AOS 10 architecture, consisting of Aruba AP and AOS CX switches, managed by Aruba Central. The customer wants to obtain information about the clients, such as their general category and OS. What should you explain? A. The customer must deploy Aruba gateways in order to receive any client profiling information. B. You will need to set up Aruba Central as a secondary IP helper for client VLANs, but this will not interfere with existing operations. C. Aruba Central will automatically derive this information using telemetry from the Aruba devices. D. The customer should set up a dedicated switch VSX group to sniff packets and direct them to Aruba Central. 4. You are reviewing an endpoint entry in ClearPass Policy Manager (CPPM) endpoints repository. What is a good sign that someone has been trying to gain unauthorized access to the network? A. The entry shows multiple DHCP options under the fingerprints. B. The entry shows an unknown status. C. The entry shows a profile conflict of having a new profile of computer for a profiled printer. D. The entry lacks a hostname or includes a hostname with long seemingly random characters. 5. You are working with a developer to design a custom NA script for a customer. The NA agent should trigger an alert when ARP inspection drops packets on a VLAN. The customer wants the admins to be able to select the correct VLAN ID for the agent to monitor when they create the agent. What should you tell the developer to do? A. Use this variable %vlan id when defining the monitor URI in the NA agent script. B. Define a VLAN ID parameter. Reference that parameter when defining the monitor URI. C. Create multiple monitors within the script from which admins can select when they create the agent. D. Use a callback action to collect the ID of the VLAN on which admins have enabled NA monitoring. 6. A customer has an AOS 10-based mobility solution, which authenticates clients to Aruba ClearPass Policy Manager, CPPM. The customer has some wireless devices that support WPA2 in personal mode only. How can you meet these devices' needs but improve security? A. Use MPSK on the WLAN to which the devices connect. B. Configure WIDS policies that apply extra monitoring to these particular devices. C. Connect these devices to the same WLAN to which 802.1x capable clients connect, using MAC auth fallback. D. Enable dynamic authorization, RFC 3576, in the AAA profile for the devices. 7. When would you implement BPDU protection on an AOS-CX switch port versus BPDU filtering? A. Use BPDU protection on edge ports to protect against rogue devices when the switch implements MSTP. Use BPDU filtering to protect against rogue devices when the switch implements PVSTP+. B. Use BPDU protection on edge ports to prevent rogue devices from connecting. Use BPDU filtering on inter-switch ports for specialized use cases. C. Use BPDU protection on inter-switch ports to ensure that they are selected as root. Use BPDU filtering on edge ports to prevent rogue devices from connecting. D. Use BPDU protection on edge ports to permanently lock out rogue devices. Use BPDU filtering on edge ports to temporarily lock out rogue devices. 8. A customer needs you to configure Aruba ClearPass Policy Manager, CPPM, to authenticate domain users on domain computers. Domain users, domain computers, and domain controllers receive certificates from a Windows CA. CPPM should validate these certificates and verify that the users and computers have accounts in Windows AD. The customer requires encryption for all communications between CPPM and the domain controllers. You have imported the root certificate for the Windows CA to the ClearPass CA Trust list. Which usages should you add to it based on these requirements? A. REDEC and Aruba infrastructure, BEAP and AD, LDAP server, CEAP and RADSEC, DLDAP and Aruba infrastructure. 9. A customer's admins have added RF Protect licenses and enabled WIDS for a customer's AOS 8-based solution. The customer wants to use the built-in capabilities of APs without deploying dedicated air monitors, AMs. Admins tested rogue AP detection by connecting an unauthorized wireless AP to a switch. The rogue AP was not detected even after several hours. What is one point about which you should ask? A. Whether apps switch ports support all the VLANs that are accessible at the edge. B. Whether admins enabled wireless containment. C. Whether admins set at least one radio on each AP to air monitor mode. D. Whether the customer is using non-standard Wi-Fi channels in the deployment. 10. A customer has an AOS 10-based solution, including Aruba APs. The customer wants to use CloudAuth to authenticate NON 802.1x capable IoT devices. What is a prerequisite for setting up the device role mappings? A. Configuring a net conductor-based fabric. B. Configuring device insight, client profile, tags in central. C. Integrating Aruba ClearPass Policy Manager, CPPM, and device insight. D. Creating global role-to-role firewall policies in Central.